And we are back. And in continuing our theme of girl power, we just checked out 2023's The Marvels, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 1 hour and 45 minutes. We caught this on Disney Plus, but it is also to buy rent on Prime Video. This is the story of 3 Marvels, Carol Danvers, Kamala Khan, and Monica Rambeau, who find that somehow their powers have become
entangled.
That was the word they used. And they now sort of share the same space.
Well, anytime two of them use their power simultaneously, they switch.
Yes.
Regardless of where they are in the universe. So suddenly one will be in her house, and then suddenly she'll be floating through space.
Right. I thought the 3 of them had to be, but no, you're right. It was just as long as 2.
As long as, so when 2 were using that, it could just be 2. If all 3 used them, then it would be another type of switch. But basically, simultaneous use of powers resulted in switching.
And
it basically makes them have to be sort of a team.
Yes, it forces them to work together to...
Hence the Marvels.
Yes, resolve this current situation that they're facing themselves, that they're all facing. Full disclaimer, I never saw the first Marvel movie, Captain Marvel. Yeah. I was going to try and watch it before we watched this, but then I didn't. And then in order to get our, theme of girl power, we sort of just fell into this film. I have to say, the beginning of it...
You really need to see the first one to watch the second one.
Okay, fair enough, but I still would want a point of reference.
You know who the character was from her appearances and
fair, but I think I still would have liked to have seen the first one before I saw this. But anyway, it didn't, whatever. Yeah, I don't think you need the continuity, but whatever.
I think you need to watch... like WandaVision and Miss Marvel, the television show, more.
Which was excellent. I want to give that a shout out. But so having said that, I was really enjoying this film, and then something happened. And then correct me if I'm wrong. It felt like, I don't know if they got rid of the writers. It felt like a completely different film after that point. Like the beginning had a certain tone.
Yeah.
And then something happens in the story. And then after that, it all went sideways for me anyway.
It completely fell apart. And it was just what happened was so terrible.
Yeah.
That it couldn't
we could discuss it. I don't think
it couldn't be salvaged. In my mind, it just couldn't be. After what happened, it just could not be salvaged. And I'm not talking about a story thing or something. It just like you were saying. I was enjoying it too. I was like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, what the hell were people complaining about? This is actually really entertaining.
Yeah. And then
suddenly it just shits the bed in the most violent and explosive manner possible. Like, you are not keeping them sheets. You got to throw the mattress out on the curb because you shit the bed hard. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. It took me so out of the watching experience that I could not get back into it after that.
Yeah.
It created such a barrier at that point for me that I was just like...
My stomach hurt while watching those scenes.
It was so weird.
It was like a level of cringe so hard that it was making me physically. I was inciting a physical reaction in me.
Yeah, I don't know if I was that invested, but I was baffled and mentally I just completely shut down. And at one point I was like, you know what? I could probably look at my phone at this point because I'm so uninterested in the rest of this.
It really
film.
checks you out.
Yeah.
It's so bad that it really checks you out. And I understand that the best Marvel films have that sort of touch of comedy to them.
Sure.
It's like they set a tone, but there's always small parts, lighthearted moments. breaks in the action where they have comedy. People will say something amusing to just sort of like, I don't know, ease the tension and also because it's a comic book movie.
Right. There should be some levity.
Like the earlier ones, they do that really well. Like
Guardians.
I'm thinking Guardians.
Thor Ragnarok.
Even like Captain America, the First Avenger. There's like the big action sequence at the end. They're chasing the Red Skull's plane and the Red Skull's awesome car.
Yeah.
And
that is an awesome car.
And Cap kisses Peggy.
Yeah.
And then he looks at Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones, I ain't kissing you. Perfectly placed touch of humor.
Right.
It doesn't overstay its welcome. It
rounds out the story nicely.
It's wonderfully done. I feel like, I don't know, it's like they've lost the thread and now it's just like, hey, remember what Taika Waititi did in Ragnarok? Let's just do that. Let's keep doing stuff like that. And it's like, are you Taika? Even Taika Waititi can't do it anymore because Thor Love and Thunder was a giant turd. I know you don't think so.
I don't think so.
We're not going to go on that diatribe. But whoever directed this, they're not him either. And
Nia DaCosta.
Okay, you throw in little bits of humor, and it was good in the beginning. There were small bits. Kamala's reaction to the bizarre stuff going on, very funny. It fit the story. It was perfectly placed. And then you go on this prolonged, like, bad Saturday Night Live sketch.
Yeah.
And it's just like, to the point where even in the story it's like it's going on too long, and now we just got to sort of throw away this world that we built.
Yeah.
And just say, oh yeah, this guy's bilingual. Because it was absolute freaking torture, that entire sequence.
Yeah, it was.
And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
really,
know what to...
like, I can understand why people
dislike this,
got so upset with this movie. Like, in my mind, I'm just thinking, oh, it's that knee-jerk reaction from like angry incels who are just too many women. This had nothing to do with the women.
That. Yeah, the performances were all good.
Everybody did a good job,
considering what a just subpar script this was. And I blame the script. The script is absolutely the thing to blame here, because if you have a bad script, you don't have a good movie. So again, the craft of writing is so important.
It had an interesting concept, but
it did.
But and then it sort of basically became almost like a bit of a paint by numbers sort. I'm outside of the terrible Saturday Night Live sort of skit that they.
Because what, the first 10-15 minutes of the movie I was completely on board with, right?
Yeah, then I mean, if you watch this movie, you will know exactly what we are talking about.
And then the sequence that we're just dumbfounded happens, right?
Yeah.
But didn't it feel like, to you, did they just like get rid of the writer and just completely...
At that point, it really felt like a lot had changed. And I wonder if a lot did, because...
Didn't this production have problems?
I don't remember. I don't remember. All I do know is that from what I see...
It felt like two different films.
There was like a lot of, I guess, plot holes in it, or continuity errors that they were sort of like glaring. Like, even in the beginning, like, Kamala is in her costume and she gets teleported somewhere because the power switch. And then when she comes back and she's wearing like a t-shirt and a flannel shirt, and I think the only reason why was so she could wear the shirt so she can cover her wrist,
right? So
that she doesn't show the bangle off to the bad guy.
And the bad guy, I mean, the bad guy was lame. There was nothing like I didn't get. I mean, there's that sequence where the bad guy, or the heavy in this, is talking to, I guess, their second in command. And it's sort of like a little exposition-y.
You get a little motivation for their behavior.
But still, like, nothing compelling about this character. And I've seen this actor in other things, and I feel like she's way better than that.
Yeah,
she's way better than that.
She had nothing really to work with. It was almost like she was like Ronan light, like... Yeah. If you remember Ronan from Guardians of the Galaxy, he was just really angry.
Right.
He was just a really angry. Maybe it's like Kree people are just angry all the time. But no, they aren't, because we've seen other Krees. They have actual multifaceted personalities. But yeah, she was just pissed. She was angry. She especially hated Captain Marvel. She blamed her for her planet's
demise,
current predicament.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was really nothing compelling about her or interesting. She wasn't like chewing up the scenery. She wasn't saying anything that was like charming or a one-liner or something like that.
And her performance wasn't anything.
No, she would.
Sometimes when you
growl.
sometimes when you get the heavy, they'll either ham it up or something. Like I think about Colin Farrell in the Fright Night remake, right?
Oh, he was
fantastic in that, right? Yeah. So like sometimes you'll get a bad guy, quote unquote, like that, where it's their performance is like so
they could be either
amazing.
Ominous or charming or something. And I remember originally, like, everybody was like, the big problem Marvel had was their villains. Mm-hmm. And you could agree to that to some point, because the first couple of movies, the villains were kind of This felt, but as time went on, the villains became more interesting.
Sure.
You didn't feel like you were wasting your time when they were on the screen. This felt like a definite fallback to that. Mm-hmm. I had absolutely no interest in this character. There was nothing, and like visually, there was nothing visually appealing about it. She was just another Kree.
Yeah.
She didn't have a cool costume. She had that hammer, but big deal. So did Ronan.
Yeah.
She didn't even have Ronan's little headgear. It feels like that was...
It was a very...
It was a half-assed job.
Yeah, it was a complete swing and a miss. I feel like it just... I don't know. I as soon as that scene unfolded, I was just done, and it happens fairly early in the movie, and it felt like the story sort of meandered. Like I couldn't.
After
couldn't recover.
After that scene, the big disaster that just changes everything. It really felt like I don't know. There was so much in there that just felt like everybody was just, all right, we're just going to phone it in from here on out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it also felt like more attention was paid to the cameos in this film.
I mean, there were only really 2.
Well, there's more than 2 if you think about it.
I'm not talking about the after credits stuff.
Well, that's one, because that obviously they put that in there to set it up for something else.
That'll have like ramifications for future films.
But also like Kamala at the end talking to that other person, like, oh, I want to recruit you. Like
that's also
Carol talking to somebody else who comes to kind of lend a hand. Like it felt like they.
Okay, so there was like 3 cameos, but 2 of them are after credit sequences, so I don't really count them.
Fair, but still, it seemed like it was like there was more attention paid to that than there should have been to the actual story. I mean, if you want to kind of throw these little Easter egg kind of treats for the Marvel fans, that's great. But first and foremost, do a good job of telling your story.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't think that's fair, because the little Easter egg thing, that's like minimal effort. It's just sort of like, it's basically all sizzle there. Mm-hmm. Making the entire film is a lot harder. And I agree with you. They should have made the script a lot stronger, and I don't know whose decision it was to allow that ridiculous sequence.
Yeah.
Because it really it killed all momentum.
Yeah.
And it really felt
to that point.
Yeah, and it really felt like a different movie afterwards. It really felt like it went from being like an MCU Marvel film to some sort of turd that Sony would pump out.
Right. Like
Madam Web.
We should watch. I want to watch it I've heard nothing but bad things about it.
It's like you just want to see it just to see if it's truly as bad as
people say it is. Because people say it's worse than Morbius, which doesn't feel possible, but that's hard. Maybe
that's a tall order.
But I mean,
they said the same thing about that. They complained about this movie, and
I got to give it to them.
Yeah. I would say the first 20 minutes are good.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
Yeah. However,
and then
that's it.
And then boom.
Yeah,
that mattress is annihilated.
Lit. Yeah. So I want to say, if you want to watch something, I would suggest, if you have Disney Plus, check out the Ms. Marvel series.
Ms. Marvel series was good. I mean,
Kamala Khan.
that had some issues with it too. It was a little.
It wasn't perfect, but it was way better than this.
But it was a good origin, and it was told in a very interesting and original way.
Yes,
and they kind of carried it over in the beginning of this movie.
Right?
It was dropped.
Yes.
After like that initial opening sequence, you never get to see like the inside of Kamala's imagination again. Mm-hmm. It's.
Yeah, it's so disappointing.
It's really disappointing.
Because you remember what phase 1. I mean, I don't even know what phase of the MCU we're in now. But
I think we're in phase 5.
Whatever phase it
is, how
is,
they break these things
I
up.
seriously pine for phase 1 because
everything. It hasn't been. They haven't really been strong since Endgame.
Yeah, I mean, we watched the Ant-Man with Jonathan Majors, and that was just okay.
It was leagues better than this.
It was better than this. Fair enough. But still, I mean, I think of the more recent ones, I think my favorite would be the Guardian ones. That last Guardian wrecked me.
The Guardians, the third Guardians, and the Guardians Christmas special,
which was excellent.
Are really the
other. I was gonna say, you know what? Speaking of WandaVision, the other one that I liked was the second Strange movie. That was actually really good.
Yeah, the second Strange movie was good as well.
Yeah, we don't talk about that one enough. I think I feel like I might have to revisit that because I was really surprised at the turn that movie took. It was well done and really well thought out and very clever and
it made sense.
And
they didn't go on some sort of
weird
15-minute aside for some joke that just
didn't land.
Didn't land.
Yeah, I mean, so again, the scene that we're just really bummed about. Like, what was even the purpose of that? Like, what
it was supposed to make us laugh. Because really, there is no reason why they should have added that. It doesn't make any kind of sense. It's just stupid.
Yeah,
it's so incredibly stupid. It reminded me. It's like, oh, wacky alien races. Oh yeah, we'll build a society that functions this way. And it's just like, no, you'll never be able to build a society like this.
Yeah,
it's like it reminds me of that. This is me being a big Star Trek nerd, but there was that episode where they're trying to communicate with these aliens, and the aliens only know how to communicate by making references to myths. And it was just like, this is the dumbest crap I've ever seen. How did they build any technology? How did they build light speed technology when all they can basically say is Darmok and Tanagra? You have no idea what I'm talking about.
No. I'm exhausted from this film. I'm kind of resentful that I gave up an hour and 45 minutes for it. And
yeah, you know what? The bad films are the ones that are fun to talk about, though.
Is it fun to talk about this? I'm incredibly disappointed.
I'm disappointed too.
Because when you think about the MCU in its heyday, that was masterful storytelling, and now
it was must-see storytelling.
Yes, it was must-see.
You would go and like even the films that were like, you were still
pumped to see.
You were still pumped to see it, and they had a consistent tone to them. They had this perfect tone, like I said, where they blended the action and
the comedy,
the humor. And I understand some people are like, oh, well, then it becomes a little too cookie cutter. If you're making good cookies, I'm eating them.
Yeah. Same.
It's like, and now it's sort of like, all right, well, we want to experiment, and it's just okay. You could experiment, but
yeah,
I don't know what the hell this was. There's a certain level or a certain line that you can't really cross. You can't blend certain things together. You could try it a little, but this really just wrecked the entire tone of this movie.
Yeah, and ruins.
And it ruined it ruined what could have been a decent story. I mean, it wasn't going to blow you away. Right. There's gaping plot holes. The bad guy's plan is just this dumbest plan ever. Yeah. It's just
disappointing.
It's disappointing. And like I said, this one more than any other, I noticed like really weird continuity issues and just plot points that made me think, oh, they really must have altered the script on this as they were doing it.
Yeah.
Like at the end when it just says Louisiana. Like, why would her whole family be there?
Right.
And and the brother still without his wife.
Yeah. I mean, he makes reference to her.
Does he not like his wife anymore?
I guess not. Either that or the person who played his wife in the series is not available. But still, I think the people that say that there's too many Marvel TV shows and too many Marvel movies might have a point.
No, they absolutely do. They need to lower the quantity and up the quality again.
Yeah.
Because
they're just hurting the brand.
You're hurting yourself. I remember people were complaining about the special effects. The special effects didn't really bother me in this one. I thought they were okay. Are they at like the pinnacle?
No.
Of Marvel movies? No, they're not. I don't think that'll ever happen again because, and it's not just Marvel's fault. It's every freaking studio using CG for freaking everything, even if whether you need it or not.
Yeah.
It's like.
Yeah,
okay,
please, studios, give these VX houses a break.
Yeah, it's like you have like a scene that could like be filmed in somebody's bedroom, and for some reason it's a green screen studio, and the cup that Nick Fury's holding is doesn't exist.
Yeah,
you look at the making of, and it's just like,
what's the point of that?
Why couldn't you just give him a goddamn cup?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just so disappointed because I feel like the legacy of the MCU is outstanding, and the more mediocre things that get put out, the more it hurts the brand.
The quicker it's just going to go away because you're souring your audience.
Yes,
I mean, look at us.
Yeah,
we watch this without the kids.
Yeah.
Because the kids just don't care anymore.
Yeah. 1 to 10.
I got to give this a 4. Because
that was the number I was going to give it to. Yeah.
If it didn't have that stupid scene in it, I may have been a 5 or a 6. But you can't shit the bed that hard in a movie and basically just completely derail it. I mean, seriously, I don't know why the concept of tone has been lost.
Yeah,
it's and especially in something like with Marvel movies, it's not just your movie; it's part of this entire expanded universe sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there is a tone there, and if you decide, oh, it's going to throw all that away, and suddenly now, hey, we're a slapstick comedy or a musical or a dance movie, you're disassociating it with what people want to see from a Marvel movie. If you want to make any of those things, make those things.
Right.
Don't try and shoehorn it into that. Or if you're going to try and squeeze in another genre, do it the way they used to. I mean, seriously, Winter Soldier, great spy movie and a superhero movie. Yeah. Ant-Man, a heist movie and a superhero movie. Do it like that. Find genres that blend well together.
Mm-hmm. And also the writer. The writer has to.
Well, that's what I mean. A good writer is going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to blend those genres together,
right.
And you can't just be like, I'm going to make the funniest thing imaginable.
Right.
No, I mean, like I said, Ragnarok worked. You had a guy who was great at comedy, and he blended it into the story well enough where it wasn't overpowering. And then
oh, sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
And then he blew it on his second one.
I don't agree, but whatever.
He blew it. He freaking totally blew it. He basically it was like you could do whatever you want, and he made it too slapsticky.
Between this film and like Eternals.
What do you mean? Which one would I rather watch?
Yeah.
I don't want to watch either of those movies.
Yeah.
Eternals was terrible.
Is going to get a sequel? Or no?
Last I heard, no.
No, right, okay.
Eternals was terrible. Everybody did a great job in it, acting-wise, but the story was shit.
Right.
And once again, you had a bad guy that, like, what did he say, like 4 things in the entire movie? And then he just gets killed. And then, oh, wait, the bad guy is actually Robb Stark. No.
Yeah.
And then, and there's a giant growing out of the planet.
Yeah.
And it just hasn't even been mentioned again. It's like almost like Eternals took place in an alternate universe. Because honestly, if something that big was sticking out of the planet, our planet would be destroyed.
Right.
That thing was like its head was reaching the stratosphere. It was you could see it from space.
I don't know.
Getting nitpicky again.
It's just so weird to me because, okay, so I have a somewhat delayed reaction about things, and I can tell you that I didn't like Winter Soldier and what was it? Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't like that TV show.
Yeah.
It should have been something else entirely.
It meandered a bit, and it should have been more of like...
And again...
More of like a spy genre sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I told you it should have been like story of the week.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
Like buddy cop story of the week sort of situation.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That would have been great.
So there's that, right? I didn't care for that. I know everybody loves Oscar Isaac, as do I, but in retrospect, Moon Knight, I don't know. Better than Falcon and Winter Soldier, but still lacking.
Yeah.
What other stuff?
Loki was good.
Loki was great.
We never saw the second season.
We never saw the second season, though.
Because the sort of like urgency and importance of seeing Marvel stuff
has waned.
Has been damaged so severely by just the lackluster output as of late.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's, from what I haven't heard anybody complain about the second season of Loki. Mm-hmm. Should probably get on it at some point, but I just...
What was the other show? Invasion? I
heard Secret Invasion was absolutely awful.
Terrible, right?
Yeah.
So there's another one that I didn't even watch it. I refused to.
I didn't watch it either. I just kept hearing so many bad things about it.
Yeah. So Marvel, please do not ruin your legacy by just putting out shite.
Get your shit together.
Yeah, get your shit together. There's no reason for this. In the year of our Lord 2024, you guys have a ton of money. You have that Disney cash.
Yeah,
but it's a good use.
I honestly, I don't see the need to pump out like 4 movies and 3 television series every year.
Yeah, do 2 movies.
Do 2 movies and a television show.
And a television show, or 2, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it. Every quarter, you do a movie. After 3 months, you do a TV show. After 3 months, you do a movie. You round out the year. After 3 months of that, TV show. Done.
Yeah.
See you next year.
Yeah. Are you dying that hard for you? I mean, you that's how you used to do it.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Create the demand.
Yeah. Make us want it. Make us miss it. I can't miss you if you never leave.
Right. And invest in better stories.
Well, that'll come if they just stop trying to churn this stuff out so quickly.
Yeah. Because you can still have a schedule and have bad writers.
Yeah, maybe give people some time to build up some inspiration.
And don't overextend your VX houses.
Yeah, I mean that's like I said, that's not just a Disney thing, Marvel thing. That everybody's suffering because of that. Because it's just so much. Everything's all those people are just so overworked.
Yeah.
And they're probably not getting paid nearly what they deserve.
Probably not.
And there's just so much that you have inexperienced people doing it, and where it gets to the point where it's just like, good enough.
Yeah.
And
that also hurts the brand when you're again, like I said before, it's disappointing, right? I mean, I could sit here as a critic and say, oh, I'm severely disappointed with this storytelling experience. But having watched a ton of movies, having watched a ton of Marvel movies, I know how good the brand can be.
Yeah.
And it is not that now. So I think that the people at Marvel need to take a seat and really think about the direction of their product going into the future.
I mean, they have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that superhero movies don't have to be stupid crap.
No.
Like the kind of stuff that you see Sony put out, like freaking Venom. Absolute garbage.
Both of them are absolute
garbage.
The first one is terrible, but that second one is even worse.
Even worse. Yeah.
Jeez Louise, who would have thought? Oh yeah, that was maybe one of the worst things I've ever seen. Morbius. I still can't get over how bad that was.
Yeah, and that bit at the end where they're just trying to look, it's the Vulture.
Yeah.
What the hell? Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm always happy to see Michael Keaton, but yeah. I agree. I didn't get that either. But yeah, let's just wrap this up because it legit gave me a headache. That's how bad this was.
All right, so 4-4.
Yeah, skip.
Okay.
Go see Ms. Marvel, the series, or WandaVision. You can get your fill of Monica Rambeau.
WandaVision is interesting. See, that is like they got experimental with that.
And
but
it worked. Though. Yeah.
They blended it in with the tone of the Marvel universe.
And the story itself was compelling and interesting.
Yeah.
So that by the time you get to, because the beginning is very like, what the hell is going on, right?
Yeah.
What is going on? I mean, I still remember watching the first episode and thinking, okay, well, that was trippy, but I'm here for it because I want to see where this is going. By the time you get to the last episode of that series, it was wow, because all the cards are revealed and you get to understand what's at play here. And it's devastating. It's devastating. And that also helped kind of influence and propel and color the second Strange movie, whatever, In the Realm of Madness. Multiverse of Madness. Right. Yeah. So,
all right.
Also, the actress at the end with Monica Rambeau. Was she in that last awful James Bond movie?
Was she?
Was she the agent that took over? Was that her?
Oh, was she?
Was that her? I don't know. I feel like I've seen her.
I've erased most of that Bond movie out of my head because it was such a crappy send-off for the character.
Yeah.
Although apparently they're just chugging ahead and they're going to make another Bond movie.
Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're... I mean, it's not confirmed.
I guess it's not confirmed, but last I heard that he was going to be the guy.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. Whatever happened to his superhero movie? Did that ever come out? I saw the trailers. I was like, oh, this looks
that's right. Craven.
Vicious.
That's another Sony thing.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they were trying to entice people with, well, check out this trailer. It's really bloody.
Right. Which it sort of kind of was.
It was bloody.
Movie.
Yeah, for a superhero movie, you don't really see people get mutilated
like that,
graphically mutilated.
Yeah, but again,
so I guess there's your hook. Graphic mutilation. Hopefully, there's an actual story to.
I feel like I saw that trailer over a year ago. Where is this movie?
I think it's coming out this year.
Is it?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
We shall see.
Is there a reason why it's this long? I feel like he's put out other things in the meantime. But
I think they wanted to get everybody's appetite excited by
I don't hear anybody
Madam
talking
Web.
about Craven on these streets.
No, but that's Madam Web was supposed to. The Sony Marvel, the Spider-Verse is really coming together. Look at the strength. You got Morbius, and now you got Madam Web, and oh my God, I can't wait to see Craven. We shall see. We shall see. I swear to God,
no confidence.
I know. I feel I'm like worried because I'm like, if there is like another Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, I'm just like hoping.
I don't think so. I think
I'm hoping that it's with like Marvel proper and not Sony.
Well, I feel like
they don't care.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the movie to watch this year is obviously Deadpool and Wolverine, right? So
I think that's the only thing Marvel's putting out this year,
which is probably smart.
Well, it's not really their choice. It was the writer's strike that.
That's true. That's true. But still, I mean, I think that tonally, that movie fits the bill because it does have those character moments, but it also has moments of levity and humor.
Yeah, you could marry that sort of dirty comedy, that type,
right,
to the tone of Marvel. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, Deadpool's just he's
filthy.
Yeah, that's just his character, and he breaks the fourth wall.
Right,
it's intrinsic to his character.
Sure,
but I feel it worked in the two films that we've gotten so far.
But I feel like too, because Ryan Reynolds is so invested in that care is actually taken in creating the story. It's not just like, hey, I got this cool deal, I'm gonna recruit my buddies, we're gonna write a movie. No, it's like let's make this count, right? And I feel like the first one was really good, the second one was really good, and the trailers from this upcoming one look really good. So I'm pretty sure it will do well for Marvel.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll do. People have been waiting a long time for this.
Right. So I think this is going to be the thing that propels it, but Marvel should still tread with care because I think what they're doing to the brand now isn't good.
No.
Yeah. So hopefully Deadpool gives them a win in their column. I'm sure it will. I think the people that love the first two are absolutely going to go see this. And it's a summer film, right? So we're going to go.
So, yeah.
Maybe it's one of those movies that saves cinema. It'll hit the $1 billion mark.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, let's wrap this up. And that's it from us. And we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.